The chill of winter settled into the air, but the coldness in Jason's heart felt deeper. Days turned into weeks, and the distance between him and Michelle widened. An unspoken wall neither could break. Jason isolated himself, throwing everything into work, avoiding thoughts of his future. A future filled with hospital visits and treatments that Michelle didn't deserve to be a part of. Michelle was breaking inside. She tried to focus on her studies, the path her parents had laid out. But her mind was consumed with thoughts of Jason. He had been her anchor. And now it felt like she was drifting in uncertainty. No matter how often she reached out, he seemed to pull further away. One snowy afternoon, after another failed attempt to talk to him, Michelle stood in the school courtyard, watching classmates laugh and chat, bundled in winter coats. She felt more alone than ever. Something wasn't right with Jason. She knew it. But how could she help him if he wouldn't let her in? Determined, she decided to confront him once more. That evening, she made her way to the convenience store where he worked. The fluorescent lights flickered as she pushed open the glass door, the familiar chime signaling her arrival. She spotted Jason at the counter, scanning items for a customer. He looked thinner, more worn down, and her heart clenched at the sight of him. After the customer left, Michelle approached the counter, her breath catching. "Jason," she began softly, "we need to talk." His eyes widened in surprise, but he masked it with indifference. "What are you doing here?" he asked, his voice flat. "Why are you doing this?" Michelle demanded, her voice trembling. "Why are you pushing me away? I know something's wrong. Just tell me, please." Jason turned away, pretending to organize the counter. "Michelle, I told you. You need to focus on your future. I'm just—" "Stop," she interrupted, frustration boiling over. "You're lying, Jason. What happened to us? We used to be honest. Why are you shutting me out now?" He clenched his jaw, feeling the weight of his secret crush him. He wanted to tell her everything, but fear of seeing her break was too much. "You don't understand, Michelle. You have a future. You're going to study abroad. You're going to live the life your parents wanted for you. I can't be a part of that." Michelle's eyes filled with tears. "That's not for you to decide. I get to choose what I want. And I want you, but you won't even let me in." She searched his face for any sign of the boy she loved. "What are you so afraid of?" Jason's resolve began to crack. The truth was clawing at his throat, desperate to come out. "I'm sick, Michelle," he finally admitted, the words slicing through the air. "I've been sick for months, and it's getting worse." Michelle's heart stopped. The world blurred as the weight of his confession sank in. "Sick?" she whispered, her voice shaking. "What do you mean?" He looked down, unable to meet her eyes. "I've been to the hospital. They found something serious. I need treatment. And I don't know if—" His voice broke. "I don't know if I'll make it." Silence enveloped them, broken by the faint hum of the store's heating system. Michelle stood frozen, struggling to process what Jason had told her. The boy she loved was sick. Dying even. He had been carrying this burden alone. Tears welled up in her eyes as she stepped closer. "Why didn't you tell me?" she asked, her voice barely audible. "Why didn't you trust me?" He shook his head, tears threatening to fall. "I didn't want to drag you into it. You deserve more than this. More than me." Michelle reached out, placing her hand on his. "You don't get to decide that for me. We're supposed to face things together, Jason. I care about you." Jason's defenses crumbled, and he let out a shaky breath. I didn't want to hurt you. I thought if I pushed you away, it would be easier. Michelle wiped her tears and shook her head. It's not easier. I love you, Jason. Whatever happens, we'll figure it out together. He stared at her and realized how wrong he had been. He had underestimated her strength. For the first time in months, he allowed himself to hope. Hope that maybe he didn't have to face this alone. He pulled her into a tight embrace. The weight of his secret lifted. I'm sorry, he whispered into her hair. I'm so sorry. Michelle held him close, her heart aching but full of determination. We'll get through this, she said softly. Together.